Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, one of the major races at Belmont Park on Friday. Race number 7 is the $100,000 River Memories. We're going 12 furlongs on the Widener turf course, and you can bet this race and this very nice card with a DRF Bets account. As you see on the screen, risk-free betting action. Learn all you need to know. Head on over to bets.drf.com. Let's meet this field for the River Memories. It's a full field as of right now, but several of these horses, Mike, they're questionable participants because they have that graded stakes race at Delaware on Saturday. Some of them are uncertain to participate. Why don't we just take the field in post position order because it's really a wide open race. And let's start with the number 1, Ferdinanda. And you and I are big fans of Ferdinanda. The problem is she doesn't win very often.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like this horse quite a bit. I suppose when they stretched her out for the first time last time and they went long with her a mile and a quarter, I suppose she ran pretty well in that race. Second best to Scottish Jig, who's also back in here. I thought she ran okay. She'll have to do better than that in this field as she goes even further, and she isn't exactly a winning type.
Yeah, I thought she ran just fine last time. Scottish Jig was just too much for her. Maybe as she's stretched out, she's improved, and perhaps she can get a nice setup from the inside. But I agree with you. This just seems a little bit too tough. An intriguing entrant is Chad Brown's number 2, Fool's Gold, who sold for $425,000 as a yearling. And Chad has really taken his time with this filly. Has put her in some easier spots. Last time out in the Miss Liberty, going a mile and a 16th, I thought she got a good pace to rally into. Maybe a little bit green. She was running at the end of that race, but I thought that was kind of a blanket finish at the end. You like her stretching out.
Yeah, maybe that race last time is not a good sign for her because it is a race she could have won for sure. But I thought she got blind switched a little bit on the second turn. And then when she was rallying, I thought she finished fine. I wasn't blown away by it, but it was another step in the right direction for her. She's really, I think, turned her career around since Chad came back to turf with her. I really liked her 2 wins at Gulfstream in December and February. I thought she ran great in the powder break in a race where she had no chance to win behind that pace. The distance is a big question for her, as is this kind of class of horse, but she's headed the right way. This filly could still be going forward for Chad, and it's pretty rare to see that from this barn.
Number 3 is Lemon Zip, who certainly deserves an opportunity at this level following 3 consecutive victories against lesser types. This horse was claimed for $12,500 in June of last year, and she's really done great for this barn. Last time out, it looked like she was in hot water turning into the stretch, but she fended off an okay New York bred in War Canoe. Lemon Zip's a nice mare. I don't think this is her, sort of wheelhouse from a class perspective, but maybe she can be close to the pace.
I think they're doing the right thing running her in this race because she deserves the chance. I think maybe this River Memories came up a little tougher than they thought it was going to. But listen, I mean, since they've stretched her out, her last 3 races, she's looked like a completely different horse. All 3 of those wins are really nice performances. As you point out, she has a great running style. I'm not going to be surprised if she runs well again in here again.
Now, class relief for the number 4, Semper Sententier, who is dropping out of 4 consecutive graded stakes races. And listen, she's ran well. She ran well in every single one of those against the likes of Homerique and Competition of Ideas and Santa Monica and Holy Helena. All of those mares would be favored in this race. And I thought Semper Sententier ran well last time out in the New York, where she was 3 wide around both turns and really the only part of the pace that was still hanging around at the end. I guess the one concern is she's still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have that same concern too. I'm going to call her the horse to beat in here. I think it's pretty close, but I'm going to call her the horse to beat. I think it's the right spot for her. She's just been holding her own in those graded stakes races. I think she runs kind of the same race every time, but she's got a great running style. She obviously fits really well in here. I think she's the horse to beat then.
Formulator fact for her trainer, Mark Henning, over the past 4 years, with horses aged 4 and up going 3rd off the layoff in turf routes, 30% winners, giant ROI of $9.21. And as we see from the time form, a U.S. pace projector, they're expecting her to sit a good trip, sitting second just off the speeds. That's one of her main advantages. She does have tactical speed. John Velasquez is aboard. We move on to the number 5 in here, and that is Homeland Security, one of the horses that's going to be cross-entered in that race at Delaware Park on Saturday. But considering, the illnesses over there, I wonder if Christophe is going to ship. They bought this horse for $400 $160,000 in November. And I guess the Orchid, if you want to say she was a bit rusty off the layoff, fine. And last time out in the searching, she really had no chance when Nikki Masho just sort of skipped along on an easy, uncontested lead. I can understand those excuses. I just thought she would run a little better last time out in the searching. Is there a chance that maybe she's lost a little bit of zip off the fastball?
I mean, I guess there is. It's probably too early to just give up on her. If I'm being honest, listen, the distance is great for her. And she obviously likes Belmont Park too. If I'm being honest, I wasn't a big fan when Chad had her. She has done nothing in her 2 starts for Clement to make me change my opinion of her. I did not think she ran well at all last time. Listen, she's 10-1 on the line. I'm not going to knock her too much, but she's not my kind of horse.
She's the kind of mare that might improve on off-going. And, we're expecting a little bit of rain this week in New York. And perhaps if the ground comes off good to soft, we can move up Homeland security just a little bit. Theodora B, the number 6, is one of 2 entrants in this race trained by Michael Dickinson. Both are uncertain to come here. They are based in the Mid-Atlantic. They may opt to wait for that race on Saturday. Theodora B, is a horse that they put Lasix and cheek pieces on in her second lifetime start. It seems like she's improved and has run a good one with each and every one. I wouldn't be surprised with a forward move in this race. I think Theodora B is a little bit interesting. Just no match for I'm So Fancy, who was the favorite last time out.
Yeah, I thought there were a couple of interesting longer prices in this race, and she's one of them. I mean, you don't know about the distance with her, but it feels like she's bred just fine to go this far. I liked her win off the layoff too back at Monmouth. I really liked the stretch run she put in to just get up that day, and she just had no chance with I'm So Fancy last. I mean, I'm So Fancy was really impressive winning. This horse was just fine getting up for second in there. I'm a little interested in her.
Let's talk about Maddie's Magnum, the number 7. This filly wouldn't mind a little bit of rain at all. She wouldn't mind a lot of rain because she won 3 off the turf races last year. I believe 1 actually as a main track only entrant. Last time out in the New York Stakes, I think she did the absolute best she can, and she ran really well. She basically followed Semper Centenier's cover going into the stretch, eased outside. I thought she tried very hard. David Donk has her in excellent form right now. But that being said, if that's the best she can do, maybe the best she can hope for in this race is a minor award.
Right. Another guy who's doing the right thing. They're getting her out of graded stakes races that are just too tough, but she ran well last time. I agree with you. I like the trip she got. I like the try she had in there. It was just too much for her. This is supposed to be a better spot for her. The figures for her last 2 races say she's a contender in here, and she's a big price.
Juddmonte Farm has 2 in here. This is an uncoupled entry. We'll begin with the number 8, Gaining, who is a group winner in France, and that means she has a good amount of class. She's burnt money, though, in both starts in North America for trainer Brad Cox. Now, here's a formulator fact for the Cox barn. They're usually great. Past 2 years, older turf routers, 3rd off the layoff, 11 for 41, and a positive return on investment. That's 27% winners. Last time out in the Kirtana, I think if you bet that horse, you have to be disappointed. She's 3-10. She's prompting a very slow pace on the outside. She makes the lead with no fuss, and she just gets run over in the stretch. Maybe, though, she's the kind of mare that just needs to be covered up and make one big run.
It could be that. The more I looked at her, the more I also wondered if she just doesn't like a little cut in the ground. It feels like her best races in France were on ground like that, and that's what she got in the Bewitch, where I thought she ran really well for her first start stateside. She wasn't going to beat Nikki Masho, but I thought she ran well to be second. I was disappointed last time. I think it's worth pointing out that the horse that beat her has gotten real good for Ian Wilkes since he stretched her out in distance too, so maybe that had something to do with it. This horse is a contender, just one that I didn't love.
Gentle Rule, you're absolutely right. Currently in the midst of a 3-race win streak for Ian Wilkes. The number 9's Pamina. Now, this is the other Michael Dickinson horse, uncertain to ship up here. I thought there was something here after her runner-up effort in the pucker-up. Yes, she got a nice in-out trip and was just simply second best that day. But I think if you really want to just sort of be forgiving, you can say, all right, the Dueling Ground Oaks, she was just way too close to the pace. The Maple Leaf, she didn't like synthetic. She lost the rider at the start of the Long Island. She was ridden as much the best in her 4-year-old debut. She was sort of a workman-like winner. I think she can build off of that performance. And again, I'm not worried about distance. She has a half-sister that's won at 1 mile and 7/16.
Yeah, I can see the distance being fine for her. She makes some sense in this race. Another horse who does have to improve to beat a field like this, but it's not out of the question for her. She's run some good races.
The number 10 is Scottish Jig, and this horse, I believe, is a full sister to Seek Again, who won the Hollywood Derby going 1.25 miles. Now we'll see if she wants to go 1.5 miles. She's a stakes winner at 1.25 miles in England, and unlike most Europeans imports, this horse showed good speed. In her North American debut for Belmont, she got a real nice, easy lead after the first 2-3 furlongs. She took a little bit of heat on the backstretch, and then she won rather easily. Timeform US believes she can make the lead once again, and that would make her very tough.
Yeah, we'll see how they decide to ride her from post 10. I won't be surprised if Irad takes her back, but we'll see what they do. She had a very soft trip when she won that race back in May, but she also was much the best in there. I like that performance from her. And if you are worried that she can't make the lead in here, her final start at Newmarket last October over there in England, she was off of a good pace that day. She made a big run into it. I really liked that win from her. This filly's got some talent. Mile and a half, maybe it's a question for her, but she's got some ability, this horse.
The number 11 is Violet Blue. Maybe Violet Blue will try to make the lead in here against a horse like Scottish Jig. Maybe she'll sit just off. She's been stuck in the N2X condition for a while right now. And again, this is a big step up in class. We respect this barn, but every time she's tried stakes foes in the past, it just hasn't worked out very well.
Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, I was on her early last year because I liked her return to the races in June. I thought she ran deceptively well in this race last year with a tough wide trip. But things just haven't gone well for her since then. I don't really like her recent races. Last time, she did have a little bit of a trip in that Lemon Zip race. I don't know if she's going to win, Dan, but she could have been closer. I don't know. I've sort of given up on her, and post 11's no bargain. But she's another horse with a race that could win this, and she's a big price.
Completing the field is the stout number 12, Sky Full of Stars, pulled off a big upset in her final start in Europe, winning a Group 2 in Germany at this 12-furlong distance, probably overmatched last time out in the E.P. Taylor, and there just wasn't a lot of pace for her to rally into. She was kind of last on the inside most of the way, never left the hedge, and really didn't make much of an impact. Now she has to come off a very long layoff for Christophe Clement, but she's getting Lasix for the first time, and I guess she has form from overseas that indicate if she's ready, she can contend with these kind of horses.
Yeah, I guess there is a race that makes her a contender. We'll see what she does here. It's sort of weird because E.P. Taylor, even if you didn't expect her to win, she looked like a long shot in that race. I mean, they just sat on the rail with her. She didn't do anything at all. I don't know. This is a better spot. Lasix on. It's not a great post. And I don't know, 8-1 on the line, that didn't do a lot for me.
Let's take a look at our top selections in this race. You like Chad stretching out with the 2 Fools Gold, and I think she's going to be a decent price in this spot.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I took her, Dan. I'm not way against a couple of the favorites in here, but I just like this filly. I feel like she's headed the right way. The distance is a big question for her, but I just thought, it's a rare horse from Chad Brown Barnes who's going to get overlooked in a race like this. And I like some of her races.
I want to give Semper Sententier one more chance. As you mentioned, she's probably the horse to beat in this race. She is 1 for 9. Listen, she finds ways to run second or third, but I think this is the first time that she gets that legitimate class relief. And as Timeform US pace projector believes, she can be sitting right up on the pace with a good chance turning into the lane. So I went 4, 12, 10, 8, and 2. We'll figure in some scratches in there. No super high 5, unfortunately. Mike, who do you like?
I went 2, 10, 4, and 6. They were the 4 horses I was most interested in here.
The fun race, the $100,000 River Memories. It's race number 7 at Belmont on Friday. We're going a mile and a half. Get down with your DRF Bets account and those risk-free wagers that are on offer. Head on over to bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for the River Memories, 4:45 Eastern. Good luck.